It's a BLT with Asian flavor as we braise pork belly and ponzu, serving it in Chinese 5-spice cornbread with hot honey and a mousse that you can make right in your blender. I'm Jeff Philbin. This is Dinner DeeAs. Chef Stephen Cady is my guest today in the Dinner DeeAs kitchen, joining us from over at the Birchwood Hotel in St. Pete. Welcome to Dinner DeeAs.
Thanks for having me.
This is going to be a lot of fun today because there's a lot of adventure that we're going to be taking, because Chef Stephen's idea for dinner for us is a ponzu pork belly BLT. Slow cooker pork belly served in Chinese 5-spice cornbread with a Korean hot honey and an avocado mousse. And it's a preview of one of the treats on offer next week at the Birchwood's International Chef's Day celebration, which is Monday, October 20th, which brings together chefs from their family of brands. And this is a dish where the slow cooker is really going to help us here.
100%.
Okay. Because, like, who doesn't love to really bring out the slow cooker? Because it's kind of one of those, like, tools that, like, do you frequent it as often? Maybe not.
Some people don't, but it's great when you have a long day at work. You can let it go while you're at work, taking care of everything, come home, and everything's ready for you to go.
I love it. So where do we get started then?
So the first thing we're going to do is, the pork belly. There's, you can get two different types of pork belly, skin on or skin off. Obviously, we brought in a skinless here, but what I like to do with my pork bellies when I did it is, so you just take your knife, just kind of run it across. You're just going to peel off just a little bit of that coarse fat across the top of it.
And you're doing this because you want to have a uniform surface area for that to really be able to make that contact.
Correct. So there's going to be little parts where maybe I take a little much off, or it seems like I'm taking a little much off. But what I also want to do is I want to take the edges and completely square it off.
And this is another part, because that way then you have a consistent cook. This is a really important part, folks, that you think like, hey, I just got out of the package. No, take the extra step here and make sure you trim the edges and just that little bit of that fat layer on top.
So, and then taking it and squaring it off. So now, not only that, but if it was a little bit big or you want to do different types of cuts on it later, now it'll fit perfectly inside of the slow cooker.
It's absolutely fantastic.
So after we take off what we need, we have our salt and pepper. We're just going to make sure that we're just going to season all sides of it. Make sure we're getting the sides here, underneath, every side of it.
And pork belly, it's hot. People love pork belly, so that's easy to find. Yep. Salt and pepper, we got already that in the pantry. Yep. So right now, like, we've got stuff that
pork belly, you can find that easily at your local market, your local butcher shop. You can get it trimmed down to whatever size you want.
I love it. I love it. And so now, what do we do next with it? So
now what we're going to do is we're going to take the actual pork belly itself. We're going to set that fat side down.
Fat side down.
Yep, into the burger. So as it cooks, when that fat starts to render, it's going to cook everything else that we're doing on top and just add all that flavor back into the pork.
So good. So what's going to go in and kind of mix with those fat in that pork?
So just your traditional mirepoix. So mirepoix, French style for the Trinity. It is the carrots, the celery, the onions, and chopped up. Just going to take some, cover it a little bit on each side.
And this is, your cuts over here, this is a rough chop here.
Yeah.
So we're not really trying to do, like a brunoise. We're not really going small.
It doesn't have to be pretty.
Yeah.
You're literally, so it's going to sit in the slow cooker. It's going to cook for hours. You don't need to worry about the integrity of the vegetables.
I love that.
We're also going to add some whole pepper seeds.
Okay.
As well as a bay leaf. And then we're going to add a sachet of thyme. Now, here's what I do different with my sachets. I don't use butcher twine.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say, man, like, I don't see any out here, so what
I do is I take a whole stem of parsley. I use the parsley as my butcher twine.
Inventive. All right, I like that. This is just all flavor then. You're not getting...
Hold it together, extra flavor. And you pop it right in. Sashaying it together, obviously with the stems of the thyme, we don't want to have that break up and be a different component in there that you don't want.
Sure.
Contaminants, something like that. Then to that, all we're going to do is we're going to add some ponzu sauce.
Now, what's ponzu sauce? Because somebody, you see it on a menu, but people sometimes are like, I really don't know what that is.
So Ponzu is actually a Japanese version of soy sauce, but it's also infused with yuzu or lemon, finished with some boniato flakes and things like that, and dashi to kind of give it like an umami style flavor.
And a little bit of brightness behind it because you have just that little bit more of that citrus kind of note behind it.
Yeah, you know, the Japanese yuzu is so bright and so acidic, it really shines through right in the dish.
Absolutely. Now, this easy to find too?
So yes, any local grocery store in the Asian food section or at an Asian market, it's readily available.
Love it. All right.
Then we're just gonna take that, we're just gonna dump it.
To grab the recipe for this Ponzu braised pork belly, just visit dinnerdeals.com. That's where we have all the ingredients, the amounts, and the directions ready to print. And we have a link for tickets to the Birchwood's International Chef's Day celebration, which is next Monday, October 20th. Just open the camera app on your phone to scan the QR code we have in the corner. Zoom in on the black and white box, and your regular camera app will give you a direct link right to us. All right. What do we got to do over here?
All right, so the next thing while that's cooking, what we're going to do is we're going to set up the initial start to our cornbread. So we have some room temperature butter here. We're going to add that to the bowl. And this is a mixture of granulated white sugar as well as brown sugar. Throw that in there, and we're just going to cream this. So you take your mixture, kind of break it up a little bit, turn your mixer on, and you're just going to incorporate everything until it becomes nice and firm and a little fluffy.
A little bit of a fluffiness behind it. While we blend that and we let the pork cook low and slow, we're going to take a not-so-slow break. And Chef Steven finished up his Chinese 5-spice cornbread ahead on Dinner Deals. Welcome back to Dinner Deals. We're letting the slow cooker take the strain today as we, or rather it, is going to braise our pork belly for this beautiful Asian-influenced BLT. And while it does its thing, we're making a 5-spice Chinese cornbread plus a super simple avocado mousse. And it's all thanks to Chef Stephen Cady from St. Pete's Birchwood Hotel, sharing a dish that he'll have on offer at their International Chef's Day event on Monday, October 20th. Before the break, we trimmed and seasoned the pork belly with some salt and black pepper, added it to the slow cooker along with carrots, onions, and celery, plus black peppercorns, bay leaves, some thyme, and ponzu sauce. And then set it and forget it in our slow cooker, which Chef Steven set for 6 hours on low, giving us time to start on his Chinese 5-spice cornbread, combining butter with white and brown sugar. Then during the break, adding eggs. And we did this one at a time.
Yes. Doing it one at a time just incorporates the fat a little bit slowly, helps break it down a little bit. It doesn't break down the creaming process of the butter and sugar.
I love it. And what else needs to go in to our mix here?
So with all the liquid products I did some whole milk as well as buttermilk and sour cream. So it's a blend of so many fats and a little bit of buttermilk for that little acidity.
Yeah, because it's going to have the lactic acids right there. Yeah. And like, because you got the pork belly, you got the succulence going on, like this kind of can cut through that layer really nicely.
Right. Yeah. If you want to give me a hand real quick.
I'd love to.
We're going to mix the dry ingredients here.
What do I need to add then?
First thing we're going to do is we're going to add the all-purpose flour.
Okay.
Mix that up a little bit. Well, we're going to take after that, we're going to do the cornmeal, the yellow cornmeal.
Yellow cornmeal.
Very fine ground. It's not coarse.
And that's important to find for this dish?
For this dish, correct. The way that we're going to compose it later at the end of it.
Okay.
Brown sugar, baking soda, and salt. And then we're going to finish it up with just that little bit of the Chinese 5-spice.
Now, what is Chinese 5-spice?
So it's a very, very popular dish in Chinese culture. So it's a mixture. It's got cardamom, it's got star anise, cinnamon, black pepper. Very, very fragrant. It's
very fragrant. And it's going to have some warm hints behind it too.
Correct. Yes. The black pepper really comes out strong in it as well as the star anise.
Oh, I love that.
So we're just going to make sure everything's broken up.
Got one clump there of that brown sugar. To make this Chinese 5-spice cornbread like Chef Steven, grab his recipe for this and the pork belly braising over in the slow cooker at our website, dinnerdeals.com. We also have a link for more about the International Chef's Day celebration being held at the Birchwood next Monday night. Just scan the QR code to find us on your phone.
All right, so what we're going to do after that, everything's incorporated. I'm just going to take the dry ingredients and I'm going to fold them into the wet ingredients.
Love it.
And while I'm doing that, if you want to get the pan sprayed up for me over there.
You got it.
Now in doing this, I'm folding. I don't want to mix, because again, I don't want to break down that creaming process that we did earlier with the butter.
And so this is one where it's just like slowly incorporate our dry to our wet, using a spatula to kind of scrape it and move it slowly inside to incorporate. And you're using a mold for this. Like this is a loaf pan here.
Yeah, it's grandma's loaf pan.
Grandma's loaf pan, nonetheless.
Some of the best flavors come out of grandma's kitchen. And like I said, this is something that's so easy to incorporate and you can make at home.
I love that. And who doesn't love cornbread? Like, and it's like something kind of like special and fun that like now it's like we're going very unique on this too.
Yeah,
so it's
very
exciting.
unique, very artisan. It's a medium that you can play with. So it's fantastic what you can do with it. Different textures, whole corn in there, cream corn in there, different types of.
So fun.
And I'm going to take this wet mixture. I'm just going to pour it into the loaf pan here. Scraping down everything.
We want all that good. We want all that goodiness.
Yep. So I'm just going to even it out a little bit, make sure we're getting everything into the corners. Give it a little love taps, and then right to the oven.
And how long is that going to go in the oven, at what temperature?
So we're going to do it at 350 degrees for approximately 30 to 35 minutes.
Okay.
If you're unsure, you take a toothpick, put it in the center, pull it out. If it comes out clean, you're good to go.
Then you're good to go. While the cornbread cooks, we're taking a break. When we come back, the super fancy mousse will show you how to make right in the blender ahead on Dinner DeeAs. Welcome back to Dinner DeeAs. We're celebrating International Chef's Day a little early. It's not until next Monday when my guest today, Chef Stephen Cady, will be part of a big event at the Birchwood Hotel in St. Pete, where he's their executive chef and their family of brands are throwing a party with tastings, cocktails, and live music. And you can sample the idea for dinner he's previewing with us today. A pork belly BLT made with Ponzu braised pork belly inside a sandwich of Chinese 5-spice cornbread with Korean honey and an avocado mousse, and we're sharing how to make it all. Before the break, we finished the cornbread, adding eggs to the batter one at a time, then stirring in sour cream, buttermilk, and regular milk, while in another bowl we combine the dry ingredients, all-purpose flour, cornmeal, brown sugar, baking powder, baking soda, a little salt, and Chinese 5-spice. Folding all of that into the wet mixture and pouring it into a bread pan that we sprayed to make it a non-stick. And then we got that into the oven where it's been baking at 350, 30-35 minutes, but the toothpick test is what you're really looking for. Okay, so while that's still kind of finishing up, what can we do next?
All right, so two more components that we're going to add to this dish. So we're going to make a Korean hot honey. So we got a warm pan here. Basically, we're just going to add whatever honey you want to use, whether it's the local, the store-bought, whatever, the Bear. That doesn't work because you're not going so much for the honey flavor, you're just looking for the sweetness.
Okay.
Because now we're going to add the gochujang.
And this is where now it's kind of taking on more flavor, and here's where you're going to get that heat.
Correct. So the gochujang, it's red pepper, fermented red pepper paste, fermented soybeans. So again, you got that umami coming, you got the heat, mix it with the sweetness of the honey, and you're all set.
Oh, come on now.
So we're just going to let that combine over this low medium heat until you get a nice deep red color. You're going to see the pepper flakes in there.
Oh yeah.
Not worrying about the texture at all. So.
Oh, that looks so good.
And that's that for that. You're going to let that sit. Simple. 2 ingredients.
And gochujang is really easy to find.
Yes, every grocery store has it.
And the
Asian market has it.
Like it's right there.
Yeah.
I love it.
So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to move over into making our avocado mousse.
Okay, now can I just be real with you for a second?
Absolutely.
This part sounds really, really fancy. Like it sounds like this is like very like an avocado mousse. Like, come on, like really?
So it's a puree of avocado, but we're mixing in the heavy cream. The heavy cream is going to add a little bit more stabilization and fat to kind of give it a little bit of a fluff to it.
So it sounds really complicated, folks. The chef's going to show us how to do this. So walk us through it, my friend.
Real simple. You got your blender. You're just going to take one fresh avocado. Make sure it's clean, de-pitted, everything like that. You're going to add some chives. You're going to add 1 whole parsley. Well, let's make it 2 for this one. I love parsley stems. Stems give it a really good balance of flavor, but it's also going to make sure that this stays super bright green.
Love that.
So you're going to take your warm cream. Make sure it's not too hot because it is going into a blender.
So that's going to create friction. Friction creates heat, and you don't really want to have.
You don't want everything to blow up in your face.
Yeah. Okay. So we just brought that slowly up and just let that really kind of hover at about 150 because we were testing that.
Yep.
It's about 150 degrees. That was it.
Yep. Salt, pepper, garlic, onion powder in a mix. Adjust that to your seasoning however you like it.
Very. And that's it.
That's it.
That's all that it was for Jamaican mousse.
You're gonna put it into your blender.
Folks, that's all that it was, okay? So it sounds really, really fun when it's on the menu somewhere at a restaurant. You could do it at home like this. Just this easy.
And just let the blender do its job.
Let the blender do the job.
That's it.
That was it.
That's it. The cream's gonna whip up like it would a whipped cream. It's gonna give it that nice little
That
velvety
airiness and
texture.
that nice.
So this
for a treat.
From here, we're gonna take this. We're just gonna put it in the fridge. We want it to cool down a little bit.
Okay.
You know, having 155 degrees.
Let that kind of
Let that
come
cool
down
down.
a little bit, because to grab Chef Steven's recipe for this radical BLT, head to dinnerdeas.com. Just scan the QR code down there if you want to find us fast. Now,
The cornbread.
Cornbread.
So cornbread comes out of the oven. We have a little bit of mixture just in a mixing bowl, room temperature butter, black sesame seeds, comes out while it's still warm. Add that extra layer of fat. It's gonna toast those sesame seeds up just a little bit of layer of crunch on top of there as well.
Come on now. If you make this for your dinner, take a photo and let us know. Thanks to everyone sending them in. Please do keep them coming. We love seeing them. You can send them to dinnerdeas@fox.com. Our friend Fran from Paris did just that when she made Chef Allison Zildjian's chicken lo mein. Fran said, "My thanks to Chef Allison for this delicious meal. Lots of slicing and dicing, but so worth it. Once you have everything ready, the rest is easy to do." Good. That does look pretty good.
It
right?
does. Very
That's
good.
a fun one right
Yeah.
there. Thank you, Fran. Omar in Tampa made the Farm Primavera recipe shared by Nicole Kubalins of Meacham Urban Farm. Omar said, "It was delicious. My wife and I really enjoyed it. She wants me to make it again. Thanks for the recipe." That's another winner right there.
Yeah.
A little healthy kind of kick right
Healthy,
there.
super simple. It was great.
Clean, easy. Omar, way to go, my man. And Mark in Zephyr Hills made all the recipes shared by Chef Adele, who runs Red's Catering Company, her chicken tenders, garlic seafood cup, and even the veggie pasta salad. Mark said, "There was so much to this recipe, and it took a while to make, but it was good." Mark, good things do take time, my friend. And look at that. You got a masterpiece over there, just like
Great.
we've got a masterpiece that's taken some time to do with the pork belly that is braised now for about 6 hours.
But we didn't have to worry about it.
We did.
We set it and forget it.
You said it, forget it.
Now you're gonna come back to it. You're gonna get that, see the nice caramelization we have on these veggies. Take it out. We're gonna let that sit for just a few minutes before we go into slicing it.
Oh, I can't wait. Neither can you. But unfortunately, my friends, we do have one last break. I know. When we come back, though, we bring the B, the L, and the T together ahead on Dinner Diaz. Welcome back to Dinner Diaz. We're making a dinner worthy of a dinner party today as we make a BLT. Not something you'd serve your guests. Well, take a look at this one. A Ponzu pork belly BLT, all thanks to Chef Stephen Gady, executive chef at the Birchwood in St. Pete, and he has this on the menu next week for their International Chef's Day celebration, all happening Monday night. Before the break, we made some Korean hot honey, and all you need is regular honey heated up with gochujang, then made a super simple avocado mousse with warm, heavy cream, fresh avocado, chives, parsley, salt, onion, and garlic powder. Just blitzed it in a blender, and that was it. Well, firmed up to the fridge, we got our finished Chinese 5-spice cornbread out of the oven, spreading a little butter and sesame seeds on top, and checked on our finished pork belly. And during the break, Chef Steven sliced and seared some of them both. We got the pork belly over on my side here. We got the cornbread on your side. Beautiful crust to create that nice texture that we're looking for. Get that crunch factor. That's important.
Yeah, so like the concept with this dish being the BLT is that you still have your bacon, you still have your lettuce, your tomato, and this is our bread element for it. So to have it as something that's easy as a one bite or open face as a sandwich, you can do it either way.
You just said the perfect words for me. One bite, perfect for a sandwich. You ready to start plating?
Oh, absolutely. So I'm just gonna set the little cornbread crustinis essentially as we made them
Ooh, see, we are like elevating it too here.
down to the plate. From there, what I like to do is just take a little bit of this hot honey as well before it goes on.
Just, you know, if the pork belly gets a taste, why can't?
I'm just gonna kind of hit it a little bit on there.
That's fun.
Yeah.
There's some heat behind it.
Then we're just gonna build.
There's some heat behind this, but it's not going to be like totally like knock you on your socks, and it's gonna have that hot oil kind of like a Nashville honey, or just kind of like the subtlety of, say, like a Mike's Hot Honey, which is very common with people.
Yeah,
this has a warmth behind it.
Yeah, with the gochujang.
There's heat and warmth.
The gochujang, it's that fermented red pepper aspect of it, so it's not a pure heat.
Yeah.
And you get the soybeans, so you get a little bit of umami in the backside of it and all that fun stuff.
And it lingers on your mouth, and it's kind of like right now it's in the back of my throat right there, and it's warm. It's not like, wow, it's spicy. It's just a warm, it's enjoyable. And the sweetness behind it too.
So our avocado mousse set up.
Oh, very nice.
Very
It's
nice.
Firmed up nicely.
Yep. Kept its bright green color. Just gonna hit that on top of that pork belly with the.
So just a slight little dollop on top there.
Yeah. Just like that. From there, we're just gonna take just a little heirloom cherry tomato. It's just been hit with just a little bit of oil, a little bit of paprika, nothing major.
Simple.
Yep. Julienne iceberg lettuce.
The succulence of that pork belly, that little kiss there of that honey, that hot honey there goes like so far with that gochujang. And the avocado mousse,
That's your mayo component.
that's it. It's just
Yep.
that creaminess that just coats the palate, that just makes you want to keep going back for more.
Yeah.
And then that crunch factor.
Yeah.
That crunch factor. Make sure that you folks take the time, sear it to that nice golden crisp to get that cornbread just nice. Thanks to Chef Steve and Katie. Find the recipe for this beautiful take on a BLT at our website, dinnerdeas.com, where we also have a link to find out more about the Birchwood's International Chef's Day event, where you can sample this and dishes from their entire family of brands. I'm Jeff Philbin. Thanks for watching, and see you next time with more ideas for dinner, as we call them, Dinner Deas.